Hello everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to this live session from DSTI School of Engineering. My name is Niraj Deobhankar and I'm delighted to be here today with our Vice Dean, Hanna, to answer all your questions about Applied MSc in Data Science. We regularly receive a lot of questions about our programs, about our schools. So we aim to come live on different platforms to answer all your questions. To start off, DSTI School of Engineering is a super specialized school that specializes in giving education in data science, data analytics, data engineering, as well as cybersecurity. These are our MSc level programs. We also have bachelor level programs in uh, cloud engineering as well. So, to start off this particular session, let me just introduce you to the format. We have already received a few questions that are pertinent, that are relevant to our Applied MSc in Data Science and AI program. We will try and answer these questions. In between, if you have any questions of your own, do not hesitate. We will try and take them when during this session, and we will try and ensure that we are answering all your questions. I guess that introduction is enough. We have quite a lot of people watching us on LinkedIn, YouTube, and other channels. So I think it's great to start. I will add the presentation. With me, as I said, we have Hannah. Hannah is the Vice Dean as well as Professor at DSTI. Uh, Welcome, Hannah. Welcome to Q&A session.
Thank you, Niraj. It's great to be here.
And, and thank you for your time to answer these questions.
My pleasure.
Okay. Okay, so let's begin. As I told you that this session is mainly dedicated to our program DSTI Applied MSc in Data Science for Data Science and AI. So the first question that many students ask, Anna, is that why study data in France?
It's actually a very good question. So, actually, what people know very well is that the data field now is a very important field all over the world, especially in the job market. What they know a little bit less, maybe, is that this field has already existed before artificial intelligence. People try to, or commonly try to associate data with artificial intelligence, but actually, this um, kind of programs already existed before AI ever hit the market. With statistics and with any kind of work, you use data. So I'm trying to answer your question in two parts. The first part is why study data at all? And the second part, why do it in France? To study data at all is to better understand your business, whatever line of business you work in: a hospital, finance, healthcare, marketing, anything you want, education, anything revolves around data. And we had the saying not long ago that said data is the new oil. So it's the new big treasure that the world is awakening to. And now we're realizing that, oh, we have a lot of this, but we're not using it enough. So we need people who are specialized, who are experts in actually using this information, which is data. This is why studying data in general is important. Now, why study it in France? France, first of all, is one of the countries that are always at the forefront of technology. And you can see from the numbers on the slide, it's also a startup incubator. So the French government is working a lot with startups and with unicorn companies by providing the financial muscle for these companies to grow and by giving them a platform in France to actually develop. And especially in data and in AI, we have a lot of success stories coming from France, most notably for our viewers and for those of you who are familiar in machine learning and deep learning, we have Hugging Face, which is a company that was co-founded by three French people, and most recently Mistral, which is also a company working in generative AI, which was co-founded by French people. So there's a lot of activity in the data sector and in the AI sector coming from France. There's a lot of government support financially the job market is changing in France to accommodate the um, positions or the roles that data people should fill, namely from data scientists to data engineers to data analysts to cybersecurity specialists as well. And of course, in terms of projected growth, this is a field that is clearly on the up. If we look at the latest market surveys, you can see that in the job market, one of the most popular jobs today is a job related to data. In fact, 2 or 3 years ago, data science was dubbed the sexiest job of the 21st century. So it was really the job that everyone wanted to get into. The last thing I would like to say about this is that France, in particular, to be able to cater for this need in data and in workmanship in data, are even administratively facilitating everything related to residency cards and permits for high qualified talents that want to work in this field. So definitely, there's a lot of attractivity in choosing France as a destination in general to study data.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Hannah. Uh, Thanks a lot, everyone who have joined over here today. We are discussing about applied MSc in data science and AI. We are going to answer mostly asked questions live. Also, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them in your comments. We will be more than happy to answer them live right now. Okay, so the next question that we get is DSTI accredited, or what are the accreditations of DSTI?
All right. So before talking about the accreditations of the school properly, let me just give a little bit of context about the STI, just so as not to jump from the market to directly the specificities of the schools. Um, the actual need for AI and data in the world came much before we had programs that actually form people or prepare people to be in the work place or in the job market to work in these kinds of fields. This is maybe a little bit hard to imagine, but at some point this was the case because today it's no longer the case. Almost a lot of universities and private schools and schools in general have data programs. The STI, what sets it apart is that it was actually the first specialized school in France that only catered to data program. So this is a school that only handles all the fields in data. So the STI was created with the objective of tackling need in AI and data and to actually prepare people to work in this field in general. So it's a school that has been doing this for a long time. We're almost 10 years old now, which is quite old for a school. And the reason why we are accredited is that first of all the programs themselves are formed by experts from the academic world and the industrial world. This enables the school to get accreditation such as the RNCP level 7, which is a state granted accreditation that certifies that the program and the diploma delivered after the program is recognized by the French state, which means that this is a diploma that allows you to work and to apply for jobs. Furthermore, we have very special type of accreditation or label, which is called the 3IA Côte d'Azur label, which is delivered by the prestigious University of Côte d'Azur, one of the most important universities in France, especially in the mathematics department. It's in the top 50 in the world, and as a university, it's in the top 300 in the world. So we have a very close partnership this university. We have something like an exchange with this university since we do research together, and a lot of the faculty from the STI actually also as a faculty from the University Côte d'Azur. So this label has been created by the university and given to certain establishments that are certified to deliver content in artificial intelligence. It basically says that at least half of the content in the program is related to artificial intelligence. So it's a very important hallmark of the quality of the programs at the STI. Finally, the last accreditation is the Calliope certification, which is also a guarantee of quality in the delivery of the program and basically certifies that all our instructors, whether they come from the academic world or from the professional world, are certified professionals that give certified content with respect to the program. itself.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Hannah. That's quite detailed explanation. I'm sure people who are watching understand that this is quite accredited institution. So we have our first live question in a way. If we have background in business and IT, mostly a master in business informatics, which is commonly called as informatique de gestion in French, can we apply for the program or do we need a strong background in maths and stats? So, Hannah, of course, we are going to answer it a bit later because we will have this question, but can you answer probably a bit over here?
Yes, sure. So first of all, hi, Ahad. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, and thank you for the question. To give a brief answer here, because the answer should be put in a wider context, but normally the quick answer is to say yes, you can apply. If you've touched IT in some way, computer science in some way, math in some way, stats in some way, then definitely you can find your way in at least one of our programs. Then I don't know, Niraj, I suppose a little bit later we can detail maybe a little bit more this process
Yes.
of how we cater the correct program to the correct person. But the short answer is yes.
Absolutely. So, Ahad, stay around. We are going to come with the detailed answer for this question, but we also want to encourage people to ask questions in between. Don't hesitate. We will take and we will answer all of these questions. Thanks a lot. So, the next common question is what programs are offered in general at DSTI?
Yeah, so as you can see, we have quite a lot. Historically, as I mentioned, since the STI started and since we started as a specialized school, we started with the one program, which was the program in Applied MSc and Data Science and AI. So we started with data science fundamentally, data is teaching data science programs, and then we started to move more and to cater for all the different aspects of the data world, as I mentioned a little bit before. So in data, you have different aspects. You have the theoretical part of how to actually work with data, model data, and train some big models like the models that we hear about today, ChatGPT or others. This is what is done in the data science part. So this is why we have an applied MSc in data science and AI. Of course, there's a lot of math in it as well for the math lovers. And for the people who are more interested in actually building models from scratch and scaling them, because these models, since they support a lot of data, they require a very big architecture and a lot of hardware to be able to run. So this is why we decided to roll out the Applied MSc and Data Engineering for AI as well. So these two programs, data science and data engineering, are a little bit in parallel. Obviously, in data engineering, you have a little bit less math, you have a little more IT, a lot more IT actually, and programming, but it's to be able to complement the data science part. And finally, if we think about the data science chain in general, you always have the person that is in the middle between the theoretical part of the data, making sense of the data, and the business perspective part of the data. This is a person that needs to be technical enough to understand what's happening on the data side, but also fluent enough to be able to communicate this in a non-technical way to potential clients. Because if you have models with results, but you don't know how to communicate them, then it's a little bit void. And this is why the next program on the list is the Applied MSc in Data Analytics, where you get a balanced profile. Generally, people coming more from a business like background find themselves in this program because it's a little bit easier on the math level and on the programming level and on the IT level than the data science and the data engineering for AI programs. But it is a program that is very much in demand as well on the job market. Next to that, we have the Applied Bachelor's in Data and Cloud Engineering, which is our bachelor program. It's actually a unique program that is for high school leavers and people fresh out of high school to start their career in data and to be prepared for higher studies at an MSc level in data science and data engineering or in data analytics or cybersecurity. So the Applied Bachelor's in Data and Cloud Engineering teaches the fundamentals in IT, in data and cloud, in a little bit of security, so a little bit of cyber security, and of course, a lot of programming and the applied math that is needed to go with all of that. Then we have the Applied MSc in Cybersecurity, which complements the three other master's programs. So, what is the only thing missing from the perimeter of working with data? We said data science is the theory, data engineering is the architecture around it, data analytics is the way to analyze and provide the results for data. The only thing missing from the perimeter is the security aspect of data. And this is why we decided to roll out an Applied MSc in Cybersecurity, where we teach or where students learn how to secure their data banks, so their information systems in general, and of course to apply good security practices when handling data. Finally, we also recently announced and launched a joint postgraduate program in digital industry and AI with the ENSAM, so the École Normale Supérieure des Arts et Métiers, which is also one of the top 100 global schools for engineering in the world. It's actually the oldest engineering, purely mechanical engineering school in France. And this is another example of our partnership and our outreach at the STI with other academic affiliates and partners. This postgraduate program is aimed at, especially, I would say, engineers that have traditional engineering skills, like in mechanical engineering, for example, and who want to add some skills in artificial intelligence to open up more their perspectives on the job market.
Okay. Uh, Thanks a lot, Hannah. So, can you introduce everyone in short what they can expect in data science and AI at DSTI? Of course, we will be getting into course structure a bit more in detail, but can we just start with the basic introduction?
Sure. So first of all, the basic things to know about this program, as we said, it's a program that normally is designed to be done in 2 years. It's quite a heavy program because there's a lot of courses that are theoretical and courses that are actually practical and project based. And ideally, there is a little bit of professional experience that is expected at the end of the program to validate the program. So here, what I'm starting with is the study mode. The study modes. This is why you find at the STI, we try to, as much as possible, render the studying of the programs as flexible as possible to cater for people coming from different backgrounds. So the traditional or the most natural way to do it is in 2 years full time. This is what you have. You can even do it in apprenticeship if you find a company and you want to gain your professional working skills at the same time as your studies. If you're able to balance this kind of work study mode, then this is for you. Or if you can dedicate yourself and you can commit yourself full time to studying in a more, I will say, restricted manner or pace, then you can do it in an accelerated mode, which means you get your courses plus the internship in 15 months, so in a little bit less than full time in 2 years. So this is the accelerated mode. Finally, if you're really interested in having this kind of career orientation and going into data science and AI, but at the same time you're working full time, for example, then the SPOC mode for you. So SPOC stands for self-paced online courses, where you can watch your courses online, but thanks to our technology and our teleconferencing system, you will feel as if you are in the class. You will be immersed with a class that is happening live with a professor that is teaching the class live, and you can even ask your questions later on to get proper feedback from the professor as if you were attending in real time. So these are the different ways that you can study a program like data science and AI, like our master's program at the STI. Other things that our viewers need to know is that normally we hand out or we teach our programs on two campuses. We have a campus in Paris, in France, obviously, and we have another campus in Nice, Sofia, Antipolis. And we have a study mode that can be fully online as well or remote. But as I mentioned, it will be immersive. So you will be participating online, but you will be joining the same class as your peers who are in Paris or Nice. In terms of intakes, we have two intakes per year. For our traditional learners, we have an intake in spring, which usually starts in April, and we have another cohort that is more traditional that starts in autumn around October. For Spock applications, of course, this can be done continuously year round, and you will start whenever you can start. And of course, you will follow the pace that you can follow, and you will adapt your learning to your situation. The program, as we said, is accredited, so it is a valid certified program that is recognized in the higher education. This is why you can see that it's a program worth 120 ECTS, so 120 transferable credits. It's 100% in English, of course, because all these different subjects are mostly done in English in the working world. And of course, as we mentioned, we expect some kind of professional experience to validate the program. Generally, this will be either as the apprenticeship mode if you're in an apprenticeship, or a end of studies internship if you are in the other modes. In terms of our student placement. So these are some numbers that I think will also interest our viewers. 98% of our data science students find an internship within 6 months. This is a real number. Often times the 2% that do not find an internship are because of personal reasons, because they decided to not pursue an internship. But generally, all our data science graduates have zero problem in finding work or finding companies. This is also bolstered by the fact that our program has a lot of hands-on projects. So as I mentioned, there's a very big practical side, and there are a lot of courses that are taught by industry leaders to our students. And this also culminates in the fact that we have a lot of partnerships set up with big industries. So Samsung, to name one giant, for example, a company, Adaltas, Thales as well, big companies in different sectors and very important sectors in France as well. And of course, since you have flexible study modes, you can see that the average range of a cohort actually varies. You have some profiles that are coming out of their initial higher education, like bachelor degree holders, or you have some older and more experienced students that are looking to reorient their careers. And this is why we have a big gap in the age range. We have students between 24 and 33, or even up to 35 years old within the same cohort, which makes for a nice mix of youth and experience among our student group. Finally, for those of you who don't know, for those of you looking to know, since data is a very hot topic nowadays, you can expect something around 1,300 euros of the average monthly pay. So it's actually, as a start, actually a very good salary with respect to the job market.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Hannah. The next question is usually what is the course structure? What do you teach in the course? So,
So the course structure is actually broken down into different units. We call them teaching units because they are a group of courses that go together. We start with something that we like to call a warm up. It's a series of courses that start at the beginning of the program and that are meant to put everyone at a certain level to be able to go on and do some more complicated things in the program. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, and as you mentioned, Niraj, we have a lot of students coming from different profiles and different backgrounds. Some of them coming from more technical backgrounds, some of them from a less technical background, some of them who have done a lot of math, some of them who have done a little bit less math. So the idea behind these first few courses, and you can see from the names, you have some data structures and fundamentals of Python programming, for example. You have some foundational applied math. You have the basics in IT and installations and how to set up your PCs and your working environment. So they are made to put everyone at the same level to make sure that everyone starts on the right foot. After that, we go through what we call the core data science and AI programs. The core data science and AI courses. And generally, all these different teaching units are quite balanced. And in each of them, we try to have a nice mix of practical and theoretical courses so that we can move from theory to practice in the different categories and the different fields of data and artificial intelligence. So basically, you're going to see courses ranging from more serious and advanced math to high level statistics to things like machine learning and the theory behind artificial neural networks, which constitutes the basis for deep learning. After that, we go to a teaching unit which has some core data engineering courses because, as I said earlier, the setting up of models and the theoretical part of data science goes hand in hand with the ability to be able to scale and to build models from scratch. So even data scientists need to have some principles and basics in data engineering. And you will not believe, Niraj, how many students we have thanking us for introducing these courses in the data science program, because it enables them in their job to be more flexible and to put on multiple hats for the same job. So courses like software engineering, machine learning, working on the cloud in AWS, for example, working with big data, a course that is delivered by one of our partners, Adaltas, one of the biggest companies in data and one of the biggest players on the market. These all contribute to giving the practical aspect of data and how to implement data to our students.
Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, One of the major goals of DSTI for all who are present is to ensure that our students, when they go to a job, when they take up a job, they should be functional 100% from day one. And that's why we include such a variety of subjects. And when we say variety, it doesn't mean they are very shallow, they are quite in depth. Yes, Hannah, please continue. I'm pretty sure you can explain all these things much better than I can. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much for adding that touch, because I think I'm going a little bit too much into the technicalities and I'm losing myself. So the next batch of courses you have in the program is more advanced things. So basically, after you've taken the basic theory in data science, especially everything related to machine learning, to the basic statistics, to the foundational math, you can move on to something a little bit more complex. We have a series of courses that we picked that normally are very unique. In the STI, I think we've seen it in the previous slide. We had the continuous optimization course, which, if we have some the STI alumni watching us, I'm sure will testify and attest of how hard but important this course is. The STI is actually one of the only schools to deliver this course, since the faculty that teaches this course only teaches at the STI. We have the same example on the slide here with the semantic web technology that is taught by one of the leaders of the semantic web field and a very prominent researcher, so Professor Fabien Gandon. We have the privilege to have him teach at the STI, and this is one of the only courses that you can find uniquely at the STI. Of course, we don't only concentrate on the hard skills at the STI. This is why the last batch of courses is what we call the soft skill courses. So you have things ranging from project management to ethics and regulations of data, because with RGPD, it's very important to also understand how to use your data ethically. We want to form good data scientists, but we want also to form responsible data scientists, which, in my opinion, the world cruelly needs today. Obviously, all these courses that we see on the slide, this is not the order in which they come. It doesn't mean that you do all the technical stuff first, then you do, for example, the soft skills. We're not mean at the STI. They are mixed, as I mentioned at the beginning of the program. The only thing that is really fixed is the set of warm-up courses, which are foundational and which have um, they have the goal of actually putting everyone on the same scale. But after that, the program is quite balanced between theoretical, soft skill courses, and of course, more practical courses. The last thing to mention on this slide is that, of course, with all of these different courses, there are additional support sessions as well, which means that the direction of studies team, in conjunction with each faculty member and each teacher for a course, can decide to set up an additional day, which is equivalent to 25 hours, sometimes more, depending on the difficulty of the course, for the teacher to re-explain some concepts or answer some questions, or sometimes give a little extra preparation for the evaluation exam, for example, for the course.
Sorry. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Hannah. We have this question coming again and again, so probably we'll answer this one first. Like, what are the requirements for data science, you know, in MSc? So let's go to that part first, I guess, so that you can explain it with some aid. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the question, Dahiru, and sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name. And welcome to the chat, obviously to the session. So the question that we're getting now more than once is, what are the requirements to study data science? Not just at the STI, sometimes in general. People don't know what this field is constituted of, and hopefully now with the start of this presentation, you guys see that we have a lot of math in here, we have a lot of statistics, but we also have a lot of IT, so programming, coding, databases. We have different requirements, and this is what makes the data science program and the data science job sexy, but at the same time hard. So of course, you're not expected to know all of these things before you join the STI or when you want to apply to the STI. We've given you a very general guideline, but I say general because depending on your profile, your skills, because each person has different life experience and CVs, we will definitely take case by case studies on the different applications that we have. This is something that our admission team does very, very well. But in general, as a guideline, what do you need in order to be able to integrate or enroll into a program like ours? You need to at least be familiar with your high school mathematics, going from the basic linear algebra to a little bit of geometry to some things that are a little bit harder, like doing some derivatives, some integrals, so working with polynomials. So you have the basic set of high school math as your tool that you need to be comfortable with. Sometimes, as I mentioned, we have some students that already come with a higher level degree, like a bachelor's. We prefer bachelor students that come from a STEM background, which means they have some form of education in either engineering, mathematics, statistics, or science in general, or IT. Or sometimes you can come with a totally different degree but have some work experience related to IT, statistics, math, science in general, or computer science. So we really have these two big differences in profiles, if you want. And of course, you have people in the middle who have some kind of education in the sciences plus a little bit of professional experience. Now, for someone who's a little bit different from this, so from people coming from a more business oriented background, for example, seeking to enter this kind of market, we do have an admission process that is delimited and defined, that is characterized by a very detailed study of the CV and the profile, followed by an online exam in math and computer science, out of which we give you a set of questions to prepare on your own. So we give you part of the exam to prepare at home, so that we give you the chance to look for the answers and to try to understand a little bit or look a little bit at the topics that you will be getting at the exam. For us, this is one way to know a little bit the level that you're starting at. And for you, it's also a way to know what you're signing up for before you actually enroll into the program. Sometimes we have some people coming in and having some idea of data science, which is not the truth. And when they look at the entry exam at the STI, they say, "Oh, I didn't know that actually I had to do this much in math or this much in statistic," and it makes them see things maybe a little bit differently or in another way. After this process, there's always a human admission process at the end. So we don't just look at the online exam or your CV. There is an admission interview with the admissions team and with the direction of studies team, which will talk to you, ask about your personal career, your evolution, and of course, your motivation for the program. Because as you've seen from the course load, it is a heavy program. So one of the main factors is to make sure that uh, each one or every person enrolling in this program has the motivation to see it through at the end.
All right, thanks a lot. I hope it's clear for many people who were wondering and who were asking for this particular question. Amina says, hey, Amina, if you have any questions, we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Uh, Glad that you are participating from LinkedIn, from YouTube, from Twitter, from Facebook. We have a lot of people who have joined. Okay, so let's go back probably to the flow. One thing which many people ask, in fact, is what are the certifications and technologies? Because we told them that we teach for, or they will be able to prepare for about three international certifications. So, what are those? And what are the different technologies that they will be able to work on if they enroll for Applied MSc in data science and AI?
Yeah, so that's a very important one. So as you can see, the course load on its own kind of covers all the basic and I would say some of the advanced things that you need to succeed in a career like data science. But on top of that, since we have scientific committees at the school that permanently and continuously review the program to stay aligned with the job market because the job market fluctuates, we noticed that today in our world it's becoming increasingly competitive on the job market, which means that whatever degree you have, and I am 100% responsible for what I'm saying, from whatever university, it's not enough to set you apart from another candidate for a job. A lot of companies, especially companies that work in practical fields like IT and computer science, ask for what we call professional certifications. These professional certifications are handed out by organisms that are very known, that I'm sure all of you know, like Google, Microsoft, AWS, so Amazon, Neo4j, and others. And they give you like an extra leverage, an extra advantage in your job applications. And it also they also certify that you have certain skills that other candidates that just have a university degree, even in data science, might not have. So at the STI, we enforce our students to pass at least two of these certifications depending on the program that they are working in. Most notably here for data science, you see that the students have to at least pass, or they have the chance to pass, the AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate exam. So this is done through a course at the STI that prepares for this certification. The Neo4j Certified Professional certification as well, to be working with graph databases, which are very important components in data science work nowadays. And of course, the SAS-based certification, which covers all the statistical part of data science, working with data sets and doing statistical analysis and advanced statistics on data sets. So the STI gives, as part of the program, courses that prepare for these certifications. Some of these courses require you to pass the certification in order to validate the course work and to validate your DSTI diploma. And of course, as you can see, as is written on the slide, the STI actually pays for the first successful attempt to encourage the students to go for these certifications, because more often than not, studying for these certifications is a little bit lengthy and challenging, but we try as much as possible to help our students pass them. And normally they have no issues actually passing these certifications alongside their DSTI diploma.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Let's go to the next question. And that is, what are the advantages of DSTI's data science and AI program? Like, why should I study this particular program only at DSTI?
So that's a great one, because as I've said, I was kind of preparing for this one by saying two things. The first thing is that nowadays, since data science is such a popular program, a lot of universities have integrated it into their curriculum. And second of all, is that Data Science Tech Institute has been doing this since the inception of the school. So this is all we do, and our data science program is one of the oldest and first in France. So imagine that this is not enough. Why do you want to study at the STI? Because we built our faculty by joining the best academics in their field, and this is through some courses that are only delivered at the STI, along with the best industrial professionals that come from the industrial world and give you real world experience. So you get both. You get almost 50% theory, almost 50% practice in one curriculum, which is a little bit rare to find in one degree. Usually, you need multiple degrees to get enough theory and practice. We work with the latest technologies, as highlighted by the previous slide with the professional certifications, we are always evolving the program to meet the demands of the job market, which means in terms of certifications, which means in terms of skills, we are always at the forefront of what the job market needs. And of course, in terms of study modes, we have flexible study modes. You can either be on campus, online, in apprenticeship if you want to have a work study life, and you can even be in SPOC mode, which means you can be working full time and studying at your own rhythm your DSTI curriculum. So, this is also a very attractive feature that is not really present everywhere. We were actually historically one of the only schools that kept going during the COVID pandemic because of these different modes of studies. And this is saying something. Finally, of course, in terms of tuition, the STI's programs are very reasonably priced with respect to other degrees delivered in data science as well. So, really, you have a mix of advantages when you choose to study data science or any kind of master's program at the STI.
Thanks a lot, Hannah. Uh, let's go to the next question. Like we explained at the beginning, that there is a very wide age range. So we can accommodate and we have that kind of flexibility to accommodate different age ranges. So the common question that comes, why should youngsters join DSTI? How do we accommodate their asks or their demands in our courses, in our programs, the way we deliver them?
That's a very important question. And actually, historically, the programs at the STI were initially made for people who had professional experience and wanted to change their career orientation and work in data. So, this is how it was initially designed. But more and more, we noticed that we have younger students wanting to join the program, especially students that, as I mentioned, have already, for example, started some kind of higher education and who want to continue and specialize in data. So, to accommodate this student group that more often than not does not have any professional experience yet, we devised different modes of studies. Here, what you see is the most traditional mode of study, which is called the initial education. So, what kind of study mode is this? This is a 2 year study mode for the program in order to be able to finish the program on campus or online, of course, depending on the student's needs and choices. And you notice that the way it's done reflects a little bit the philosophy of the STI, whereby we want students to start getting some professional experience as much as possible. This can be crucial, especially for their profiles and specifically for youngsters who do not have any professional experience by the time they have joined the STI. So instead of just giving them 2 more years of theory and coursework, we break a little bit the program into year one classes, year two classes, and between year one and year two. So between the end of year one and the start of year two, we give them the chance for a 4 to 6 month optional internship. Of course, this is optional. Not all students do this. Some students prefer to keep studying in this time, and namely getting their professional certifications, for example, which also boosts their profiles. But some students, especially those who are hungry to start getting practical experience, often go for the 4 to 6 month internship. Most recently, we had a few students finishing their year one and being able to snatch a 4 month internship in order to start putting into practice what they've studied. So, the two things that, or the two main takeaways that we can get from this is that one, you have the option to start getting professional experience while you are studying at the STI, and two, you have enough material at the end of year one actually be hired and considered serious, at least for an internship position at a company, which is very important and which is something that you cannot always um, guarantee in a program. And at the end of the year two, of course, whatever happens, you need to have that professional experience to validate your entire diploma. So after your year two classes, you will have a mandatory 6-month internship. We've even had some cases where some of our students, instead of getting a 6-month internship, were offered right out a full-time job, a contract. And of course, this also validated their professional work. The other mode that we have here is the apprenticeship mode. So the apprenticeship mode is a little bit different because it's a rhythm whereby you combine studying and working. Generally, the rhythm at the STI is 2 weeks of studies followed by 3 weeks of company time. We believe that this is the best way to actually make use of class time and company time. Other programs do it on a different rhythm. They do something like 4 days of class time versus 1 day of company time in a week, which is for us not very serious because you don't have enough time to do anything in 4 days in class or in 1 day at a company. So for us, 2 weeks versus 3 weeks is great because it balances the coursework in class. It allows students in apprenticeship to get the most of their class time and, of course, be fresh enough to go and apply and do some interesting things and work on some tasks in their company work or in their company hours.
Awesome. So I have next question by Tahiru again. Do we need to candidate, I mean, apply, I guess, apply through Campus France for foreign students, or we can directly apply?
Okay, so this is more a question for the admissions team, but I will say a couple of things about it. First of all, normally applications to the STI program, any program of the school, go through the website. So you can directly apply. There's a difference between apply and getting accepted, and the process in between, but you can directly apply on the school website. Thank you, Niraj, for the links. You have the links in the chat. You can fill out a form. It's a very intuitive and easy process. We will ask you for some basic documents like your CV to at least get to start to have an idea or to build an idea of what kind of profile you are. But then after that, depending on your status, so if you're living in France, it will obviously be different from if you're living outside of France. If you're a foreigner living outside of France, so if you're a non-EU student living outside of France, you will have some steps to take. But this is something that our admissions team can walk you through. Normally, we have a partnership with Campus France and we have a partnership with Fil Français as well, which is an organism that handles the visa applications or aids in the visa applications of foreign students looking to come and study at the STI. But yes, you will probably have to go through Campus France in one way or another because they need to issue you an official letter that says that you are really coming here to study this kind of program. I hope that's clear for Dahiru.
Dahiru, just to add one thing, you need not, I mean, Campus France comes only when you are accepted at DSTI. Till that time, you can directly contact DSTI. You can directly apply through our website. I think that's clearer. Uh, okay. I somehow the link is not getting posted on LinkedIn, but after the program, I will ensure that Dahiru, you get the link on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as Twitter. People are able to get these particular links. All right, guys, don't hesitate to ask your questions. We will be more than happy to answer your questions. The program that we are in today, it is designed so that we can answer all your questions. These are the typical questions that have been asked in advance, and we are trying to answer those questions through some structured slides and everything. But if you have questions, please do ask them. Not an issue. All right. So how about the professionals who are probably 30, 35 years old? What kind of study pace, or how do you accommodate these people?
Yeah. So these people obviously come from a slightly different background. Professionals mostly are either looking to reorient their careers. so to interrupt a job to go through a different kind of career that is more related to data, or we have professionals that are seeking to level up, for example, by getting some technical skills and getting another kind of position or post. So for professionals, normally, as we mentioned, they are more mature students. They are people who already have professional experience, which probably also means they are people who already have higher education degrees. So there are people who are already used to studying and seeing some um, advanced concepts, we're going to say. So this is why we can propose for them the accelerated mode, which is the a very serious mode whereby you decide to stop your career, study for some time, so invest in your studies is the better word, and of course relaunch a career or reorient to a career or improve your current existing job position. So the accelerated mode is done in 15 months, so it's a little less than 2 years than the full-time 2 years that we saw on the previous slide for the more traditional learners. And it's basically 9 months of classes, so the entire program of the STI that we've seen in the different teaching units, followed by a 6 month mandatory internship. The good news is that even if this is an accelerated mode, you will never be in a state where you're just doing coursework. You have to do an internship, which means the part of the studying mode at the STI will always guarantee that you have a foot in the job market by the time you finish. This is why, in my opinion, this is a very good investment. Of course, you have other professionals which, for whatever reason, do not want to stop their job, but want or are able to study alongside a full time job. For these professionals, we recommend the SPOC mode, so the self paced online course mode, which means they get to study online on their own time and they get to balance this rhythm with their full-time jobs. We have a lot of students actually doing this, and it's a very popular mode, especially for the professionals who are seeking to continue their career while studying at the same time.
All right. I hope it's clear for everyone. If you have questions, we have a lot of flexibility, but at the same time, I understand that it could be a bit confusing as to, people might think or students might think that, okay, should I choose this mode or that mode, or how should I, choose how to study at DSTI? We are more than happy to answer your questions if you have any questions. Okay, so I guess we have already covered the admission requirements and the admission process to an extent. It's just to summarize, it's a very, very simple process and simple requirements. We don't complicate things. We don't like them, right? So understand, I'll just summarize. We have a simple online application form. You just need to provide us with CV, cover letter, your mark sheets or transcripts, whatever you call it, and the degree certificate. If we like them, we will directly call you for admission interview. If we think that they are not up to the mark, we might ask you to go for an entry exam. If you clear the entry exam, we will ask you to go through admission interview. Admission interview is a very, very simple process. We don't ask too technical questions. What we are interested in is understanding your motivation to join the program, and we want to verify the profile. Basically, we just want to know you know what you're getting into. It should not happen once you land over here, then you realize, oh, this is not something for me. That's the only thing. And then we give you a final decision. And there are certain bureaucratic rules for the official admission letter. All right. Next question. Tell me something about NIS Sofia Antipolis campus. Okay. So
So if I
probably
want,
I'll take this question since, or you want to take, not an issue. Yeah.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
summarize it with one word before
Yeah.
you maybe go on a little bit more about it, but our Nice Sofia Antipolis campus equals the sun. So, with respect to the Paris campus, for those of you who know Paris or who've been to Paris, the only thing that we're missing on the Paris campus, and this is why I look a little bit white, it's because I teach from the Paris campus. We don't have enough sun. At Nice, you always see everyone happy. at the STI because they all have the sun. We have a very nice campus with a canteen, with an outside sitting area, because traditionally and historically, this was the first campus at the STI. So big, and we have, as you can see as well, a little lounge area that we call, where students can blow off some steam after the courses. They can play a little bit of baby foot if they like, and of course they can enjoy having their meal outside or just visiting the area around. They have the sea next to them. It's beautiful. I don't know if you want to add anything, Niraj, being from there.
No, no. I think that's more than enough. The people who are worried about, will I get a job in NIS if I come to NIS, let me tell you that we have 2,400 hectare tech park. It's one of the biggest tech parks in Europe. All right. And we are right in the center of them. If you go to the map and draw 2 kilometer radius on the map, you will see, of course, half of it will be the sea, but the rest of it would be major companies like Accenture, Air France, Amadeus, Athos, Capgemini, and so on and so forth. So there's no problem in coming to Nice, Sofia, Antipolis. Unfortunately, many people think that Paris is France and France is Paris. Not true, right? Uh, Another advantage of living or studying in Nice, Sofia, Antipolis campus is two things compared to Paris are quite economical, and that is accommodation as well as the public transport. If you just are going to come to DSTI, and if you happen to live on line A, which most of the people do, most of the students do, because it's one of the busiest lines, it's free for you. Public transport is free for you. You don't have to worry about that part. You'll get a lot of hostels. That's also not a problem. So both of these things, when you compare, it's quite cheaper to stay at NIS Sophia Antipolis campus. All right. Coming to you, Hannah, how about Paris campus?
Yeah, so obviously, Paris is the hub. It stays the hub. The upside of being on the Paris campus is we recently have launched a twin campus. So our original Parisian campus is situated at La Collégiale in the fifth arrondissement of Paris, which is a very busy, lively area or sector. We are right next to the Latin quarters. We have a lot of nice bars, restaurants around us, and we've recently have opened a twin campus at the prestigious ensam school, which is our partner, which or where we have some rooms that are dedicated to the STI teaching there. So the advantage of that is that you can also benefit from the campus of one of the oldest universities in France. They have a beautiful garden, they have a beautiful public space, they have a canteen where you can sit, just eat, enjoy the rare days where we have the sun. Of course, on a more serious level, we are in Paris, so it's convenient for you from a job perspective because we're in a technological hub. Just like the hub that you have in Nice, a lot of companies are headquartered in Paris. So, in your job search, this will be also crucial, which means you can get more interviews, you can be seen by more companies. And since we can um, traverse or since public transportation in Paris is always available as well, you can easily go from one place to another in case you need to go on site and do an interview or talk with the company. In terms of expenses, very quickly, it's a little bit different from Nice. It's a little bit more costly, but basically the things that you put on public transportation and food and accommodation, you save on your books, for example, for the STI, since this is the right time to say that for our students, they get a lot of perks at the STI, namely from our academic partnerships like access to Microsoft content, Amazon content, and more than that, access to an O'Reilly platform, which gives you access to more than 1,000 technical books that you can use for your data science education.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks a lot. Okay, so somehow I'm not able to show this comment, but on LinkedIn we have Abnes. I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. I know that, but he's asking, do you have any scholarship opportunities?
So this is also a big one that always comes up. Do we have scholarships at the STI? I would like to say not yet. We are working towards creating a fund for helping our students. But what I can say on the other side is that we accommodate you as much as possible. So this is more a question for the admissions team, but usually tuition fees and your payment methods can be discussed a lot further and in length with the admission team to see how we can, as much as possible, give you something that makes sense for you in terms of paying the tuition fees. You also have a lot of organisms for people that are within France already that can help you and can cover part of the tuition fees in case you want to study at the STI. So this is something that the academic team, sorry, the admissions team at the STI can advise you very well with. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you want more info on that.
All right. Thank you. Uh, the next question typically people ask, I will take only a few questions now because we are almost at the end of an hour. Uh, does DSTA offer online education? I mean, yes, we do, but still, uh, we want to emphasize on online education as well as much as we can. So probably, Hannah, if you could explain how do we conduct these online courses for students?
Yeah, so you have two big ways that we do it. We have the very easy SPOC mode where courses are recorded. So recordings of courses that already occurred are given to students. So students have access to this recorded content and they can re-watch them at their own pace, especially since they will be balancing a career on the side. And of course, if they have any questions or if they wish to get in touch with the instructor, then this can be arranged through the Direction of Studies team. The other way for us to offer online courses is again this idea of teleconferencing system where you can watch a course real live even if you are not on either one of our campuses on Nice or Paris. So you will be immersed in the course even while staying remote, and you can participate in the class and the professor will see you and hear you and you can see and hear the professor and you can ask your questions live and you will have access to the content live. Of course, on top of that, we have a learning platform which is an online learning system where we put all our material so you can get access to that after the course as well.
Absolutely. And even you can take your examinations from your home online, so you don't have to actually travel over here. Uh, and this applies to full-time courses as well as the apprenticeship or the alternance modes, right? Okay. Uh, I think the last question that we'll take is about where do DSTS students usually work?
Yeah, I'll maybe benefit because we're a little bit over the time. I'll benefit to answer two in one. So, where do
Yeah.
students work, and what kind of careers can you anticipate in data science? Because this is also an important thing
Yes.
we haven't said yet. Um, our students, as you can see, work at different companies, uh, local and international companies. And as I mentioned, in France especially, you have some startups and unicorns in tech and AI that are booming. You have also the traditional players like Google, Microsoft, the banking sector, Total Energy, so the energy sector, the defense sector, the security sector, the financial sector, all these different sectors, and of course the biomedical sector. With all the big players, you have data scientists working there and our students working there. We also have obviously students who choose to work in consulting, and we have a very big alumni network that can help you and help each other. And typically, this is what happens. They give you a connection with their companies whenever they feel like they have an opening. Now, what kind of career can you have at these companies in data science? Usually, data scientists can work as machine learning engineers, which means you can train, design, build, and execute some models with some large data. You can work in consulting. You can work in freelance as well, of course. So, heading a project or being a project manager on a project whereby you have to work with data. And of course, you can work more traditionally as a computer scientist, which means you will be responsible of the infrastructure. This is more a data engineering job, but you will be responsible for the infrastructure that will house the different components of data and of the machine learning workflow. So these are the very big um, types of jobs that you can work in when you come out of a data science education.
Okay. So thank you. Thanks a lot, guys. You participated quite well. Uh, we would always like more and more and more questions. We will keep coming back to you with these kind of programs. Please do follow us on whatever channels that you are following us right now. We are on Facebook, we are on LinkedIn, we are on YouTube, we are on Twitter, everywhere. So please follow us for more such updates. Please watch our programs, and we will be more than happy to answer all your questions. We will take just 1 minute. If you have any questions at the last moment, please ask. You could ask, as I said, anywhere on any of these platforms. Okay, all right. Don't worry, if you have more questions, you can always put comments and we will try and see those questions and try and answer those the next time. All right. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye bye.